Thank you so much for being here for this video. I'm super excited for this one. If you've been following along on the journey, today we're going to put everything together, everything that we've learned, and we're going to interpret an initial appearance. Just briefly, I want to touch upon why this one's so important. So the initial appearance is the first time a defendant appears before a judge after being arrested. So all they're doing is being informed of their rights. Everyone has the same rights, so everyone is going to get the same spiel. So as an interpreter, this is going to be a very common, this is going to be very common to interpret, so very important one to know. All right, and then because this is going to be such a long one, I'm going to go pretty intense on with my makeup today. I'm going to go in with the Huda Beauty, and I'm going to start with this shade here, this lilac. Lilac is my favorite color, and I don't use it that often. I think just it's not very, colorful isn't the norm for makeup, but it's my favorite color, so I'm gonna go for it. And let's start with initial appearance. It'll usually start something like this. All defendants appearing for the first time in this court are advised. I'm just applying most of the color. I have hooded eyes, so when I open them, I want to make sure that the color is still visible. So I'm going in swiping windshield motions here, and then connecting it to the outer corner of my eye. And so it's kind of always leaning in this direction when I'm swiping. And I'm going to do the same thing to this eye. Let's go over the words that we know. Defendants, acusados. Did you remember that? Appearing in the legal sense was comparecencia or comparecen. And court in this sense would be juzgado. Everyone's literally in a courtroom being advised of their rights. So juzgado would be the appropriate interpretation for court in this context. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing on both eyes, the exact same placement, the exact same color, but just another time to get more of that pink in, or lilac. I've got, I think, the initial base layer of lilac that I'm looking for. And what I'm going to do next is go more precisely and do more of a graphic line. So maybe here and here. I used this color first, so I think I'm gonna go in with this deep purple. One more time, we're gonna go through the phrase in English and we're gonna interpret it all in Spanish. All defendants appearing for the first time in this court are advised, a todos los acusados que comparecen por primera vez en este juzgado se les informa que. And so now that I have this line in, I'm going to do the same to the other eye after, but let's break up these phrases. All defendants, a todos los acusados, appearing for the first time, que comparecen por primera vez. In this court, en este juzgado, are advised, se les informa que. I'm moving in with this blending brush, going back into the first lilac shade, and I'm gonna gently blend out the edges of this line. Not too much, I still want it to be defined, but just to help diffuse the color a little bit before once again adding shades. All right, we're gonna move on to the next term. You are not obliged to make any statement. You are not obliged to make any statement. No están obligados a presentar ninguna declaración. No están obligados a presentar ninguna declaración. obliged, obligados. Well, this just happened. I was going to line my eyes with this pencil, but this just fell and broke off. I'll fix it later. I'm going to go back once more into this deep purple and once more line that next term. In future proceedings, en diligencias futuras. Proceedings, diligencias. Proceedings, diligencias. I wanted to highlight this one because proceedings, I've often misinterpreted as procedimientos, but diligencias. In future proceedings, en diligencias futuras, which goes with the next one, during all court proceedings, durante todas las diligencias judiciales. Remember, court as an adjective is judicial, so during all court proceedings, durante todas las diligencias judiciales. This is another long one that we're gonna break up. And just because the first one was so long, I'm gonna actually bring it back once more just to refresh ourselves. All defendants appearing for the first time in this court are advised. A todos los acusados que comparecen por primera vez en este juzgado, se les informa que. I'm going to move on to shimmer. And let's see. This one right here, it's just the most, it's the most ethereal shade. So I'm naturally wanting to use this mermaid scale shade. It's called Supermoon. If you do not have the money, si no tiene el dinero, to hire your own attorney, para contratar a su propio abogado. This court will appoint an attorney for you. Este juez le nombrará uno. You could subject yourself to further prosecution. Podrían quedar expuestos a un procesamiento adicional. You could subject yourself to further prosecution. Podrían quedar expuestos a un procesamiento adicional. Going to go in with Supermoon over here and just layer back on the center lid. I'm going to do my eyebrows next. You are here for initial appearance before the United States Magistrate. Están aquí para una comparecencia inicial ante el juez federal. Initial appearance as comparecencia inicial. Remember, appearance in the legal sense, comparecencia, initial, inicial. The United States Magistrate, el juez federal. I'm back. I've done my eyebrows and then just applied some mascara. We're gonna apply the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating CC Cream. And moving on with the initial appearance, if there is probable cause to believe that you committed the crime which is alleged against you in the complaint, let me spread this around, and we're gonna break that up into chunks and then interpret the whole thing. Probable cause, motivo fundado. Committed the crime, cometieron el delito, alleged against you in the complaint, se presume en su contra en la acusación formal. Did you remember the terms complaint, acusación formal, alleged? presume, crime, delito. I'm going to move on to bronzer and blush. I have the Milk Makeup bronzer in the shade Baked and the Tower 28 in the shade Party Hour. Once more, if there is probable cause to believe that you committed the crime which is alleged against you in the complaint, si hay motivo fundado para creer que cometieron el delito que se presume en su contra en la acusación formal. You also have the right to be released on reasonable bail. También tienen el derecho a ser puesto en libertad bajo una caución razonable. Did you remember that bail was caución? All right, I think that's it for the cream bronzer. After you have shown that you do not have the funds to hire an attorney, después que ustedes hayan comprobado que no tienen los medios económicos para contratar a su propio abogado. Let's break that down, and I'm gonna apply my blush here and here. I dabbed it in here, did a lot of excess here, and then I'm just gonna start stippling in, blending up. After you have shown, after you have shown, what you're doing is showing, not mostrando, like you're proving that you don't have the funds. That's why they're saying comprobando for showing. Después que ustedes hayan comprobado, funds, don't say fondos. I didn't know how to say it. I said fondos. Medios económicos. I believe it's what they would call being a no sabo kid. And then to hire your own attorney para contratar a su propio abogado. To blend in the cream bronzer and blush, I'm just going through all of the edges with the sponge that I used to blend in my CC cream. Going to move into concealer. That's gonna help brighten up this area and clean up a bit of the fallout as well. And next, you could subject yourself to further prosecution. Podrían quedar expuestos a un procesamiento adicional. Further prosecution. Procesamiento adicional. You could subject yourself. Podrían quedar expuestos. So altogether, you could subject yourself to further prosecution. Podrían quedar expuestos a un procesamiento adicional. For bronzer, I have this bronzer from Milani. Before the United States Magistrate, we just went over United States Magistrate. Let's see if you remember. Ante el juzgado federal. I'm sorry, ante el juez federal. Ante el juez federal. Before the United States Magistrate, antes el juez federal. Ante el juez federal. I'm going to apply powder blush. Actually, I'm going to hold off on the powder blush until the very end, until I decide what I'm going to do with my lips. So I'm going to set with powder, the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. To believe that you committed the crime which is alleged against you in the complaint. Committed the crime, cometieron el delito, which is alleged against you, que se presume en su contra, in the complaint, en la acusación formal. We'd gone over complaint before, alleged, crime. I hope if you've been following along, you got them. If not, if this is your first time, this might be the first time that the puzzle pieces are clicking together. And I hope it's an exciting journey of knowledge and learning for you as well. I'm going to choose a lipstick and then we're gonna start going over the words together, and a blush as well. All right, this is the vision. I'm going to line my lips with this deep plum and then also put in some of this purple in the center. And then using this nudish glossy stick, I'm going to blur everything out. And let's go through all of the words. All defendants appearing for the first time in this court are advised. A todos los acusados que comparecen por primera vez en este juzgado, se les informa que you are not obliged to make any statement, no están obligados a presentar ninguna declaración in future proceedings, en diligencias futuras, change of plan. That is so pigmented and went through so much of my lips that whatever's on my lips now, that's what I'm gonna blend out. If you do not have the money to hire your own attorney, this court will appoint an attorney for you. Si no tiene el dinero para contratar a su propio abogado, este juez le nombrará uno. You could subject yourself to further prosecution. Podrían quedar expuestos a un procesamiento adicional. You are here for an initial appearance before the United States Magistrate. Están aquí para una comparecencia inicial ante el juez federal. If there is probable cause to believe that you committed the crime which is alleged against you in the complaint, si hay motivo fundado para creer que cometieron el delito que se presume en su contra en la acusación formal, you also have the right to be released on reasonable bail. También tienen el derecho a ser puesto en libertad bajo una caución razonable. And after assessing the situation, I brought out these two powder blushes to finish off the look, just depending on how the lips came out. I have this and this. I think a very light dusting of this one. I'm going in with this small fluffy brush so I can be very precise in where I want it and then blend out. After you have shown that you do not have the funds to hire your own attorney, después que ustedes hayan comprobado que no tienen los medios económicos para contratar a su propio abogado, in order to show, para demostrar, you could subject yourself to further prosecution. Podrían quedar expuestos a un procesamiento adicional before the United States Magistrate ante el juez federal is for you to be told what the charges are against you, es que les digan cuáles son las acusaciones en su contra, to believe that you committed the crime which is alleged against you in the complaint, para creer que cometieron el delito que se presume en su contra en la acusación formal. And that is, it's not a whole initial appearance, but very common phrase. I hope you found this lesson fun. I hope you found it entertaining to put everything together. I hope you enjoyed the makeup tutorial. If you have anything that you would like to watch, any questions you have for interpreting, please let me know. Thank you so much for following on this journey. Bye-bye.